All right, so now I'm back on the scene. It's been a little while since I've been going. I did my first live stream last night in a long time. Feel like it was a success. Glad to be back. This is where I feel most comfortable. This is where I feel most at peace. This one I feel like my purpose is getting fulfilled. You know, I really appreciate the outpour and the support that people give me and the support that I'm able to give others. And just the brotherly love and the friendship and the grown men talk that goes on these forums and in these videos and everything like that. This is gonna be my first video back, and I'm gonna talk about a topic that I think is very important, and I'm gonna give my outlook on it and what I believe about it, and see if others out there can relate to this. And the name of my video tonight is gonna be called "What is Sex?" And I'm gonna break it down on several fronts. You know, the first thing sex is, it's a biological act between two different sexes which produce life. And that's the base meaning of it. The base meaning of it and the base use of it is to reproduce, even in the animal kingdom. If you look at the animal kingdom, you know, sex is used in seasons. It's not something that is done all the time. It is used in mating seasons for animals to reproduce. You know, different animals have different seasons and stuff like that, and it's supposedly supposed to be used for the same thing in the human kingdom. I know we're basically animals and we're part of the animal kingdom, but we're animals of higher intellect. So we have a choice when it comes to that. We don't have to go off of our low desires. And one thing I want a lot of guys out there to think about is something that I think about too, and I'm still guilty of it and still subject to making decisions against this right here. But if you really sit back and think about it, even if you have kids or you don't have kids, just sit back and think about how many women you slept with, and ask yourself how many of those people, if you had to look at a big projection screen before you had sex with them that would tell you you are going to have a baby with this person, how many of them would you actually have had sex with? And you know, me and my friends talk a lot about sex and everything like that, and what it really is and stuff. And when we look at it, you know, I think the last thing that we think about as human beings, I don't know if this is something that's innate in us or something that has developed over time, but I think the last thing that we usually think about is having children. Usually when we're thinking about something, we're just thinking about the pleasure that comes with sex, but we don't really understand the consequences that could come with it. And I'm still guilty of this myself, because I still find myself pursuing sex with people that, you know, I wouldn't want to have children with. And then I'm going to talk about it on a different level. You know, sex is a transfer of energy between two people. And I'm only talking about sex when it comes to the relationship between men and women. And me and my brother, you know, Trent No Spoons coach, shout out, check him out. Got some really good shit, like I always say. We looked at sex in the concept of what we believe and our opinion is on it. And like I said, I think it's a transfer of energy between two people. And sex is very different for men and women. You know, sex is the way that men bond with their women and give, because we're the givers and we're the lovers. And when we have sex with a woman, it's our way of showing us that we love her. Now, do we love every woman that we have sex with? Absolutely not. That's not been my experience so far. But when you're with the woman you love, the way you show her that you love her is by bonding with her through sex, through intimacy. And, you know, if you look at it from the aspect of takers and givers, even the sexual organs that we have as people show who is the givers and who are the takers, because we give women dick, which is outside of ourselves, inside of themselves, and they take it. So whenever that act is happening between two people, it is an act of give and take and give. And if you ever notice when it comes to the energy, take a look at this. When you ejaculate in a woman, you are giving her your energy. Have you ever noticed that after you ejaculate and after you have an orgasm inside of a woman, that you are like really tired after, like it has brought you down a couple levels, that you have, you know, given life out of yourself? And if you ever notice, it gives them energy. Like I've had sex with a good bit of women in my life, and I've actually had women like really just be like, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. And I didn't really understand why they wanted it so bad. But the thing about it is, it's like it's a transfer of life energy from you to her. So whenever you give her that life energy, it is giving her energy. That's why if you ever notice with a woman, after you have sex with her, it could be like marathon sex, and like you could have came in her and all that kind of stuff, and you like dead tired after you bust that nut. You know, you coming down off of that euphoria and everything. You just laying in the bed like stretched out, and they can get up, start cleaning, picking up clothes, cooking food, doing all these things, and it's like, man, I never really understood that. It's because it's a transfer of energy from you to her. So you're giving her your energy, you're giving her your love, and she is taking your love from you. And as red pill men and men who understand what's going on out here, we can kind of understand how that also translates into the relationship aspect of things. How basically whenever you get into a relationship with a person, it starts off, kind of even, I guess I would say, maybe not, but you realize that you're the one giving, and the other person is taking. And the thing about it is that, after they've sucked all the energy out of you, it's like, what is there left to do? And that's why I think, like, after a while, women stop having sex with the men that they're with, because their body over time gets so used to having that energy in it that it's immune to it now. It's not really doing the same thing to them that it was at one time. So it's like they're not getting anything out of it anymore. It's just regular to them now. So now it's like it's not necessary for them to have sex with you anymore like they did in the beginning, because they've extracted all the energy and all the information out of you that they can through your semen. And like I say, men use sex as for sex. We like to have sex because we like to have sex. We don't use it to get or gain anything but bonding and pleasure from our woman. But this is where things change at. On the opposite end of that, women, sex is very, very different for a woman. If a woman doesn't feel like she can extract anything from you, I'm not just talking about money, I'm not just talking about property, I'm talking about whether it would be attention or control or love or whatever they can extract from it, they use it to extract something from you, to take something from you, whether it would be like I say, your money, your finances, your freedom, your last name. It's always due to gaining something out of it. And if you realize, like, whenever you get into a relationship with someone, whether it be a long-term relationship where y'all start together, y'all having sex all the time, and that is the thing that she is doing to extract energy from you. And the more energy she extracts from you, the easier it's going to be for her to make you move in a certain type of way, because she understands that if you want to keep getting that from her, you're going to have to start doing what she wants you to do. And so you start capitulating to her, and you start doing the things you want to do because you don't want to lose that affection. And you don't want to lose the way that you show your woman you love her, because ultimately we're the lovers and we want to please our woman and we want to make our woman feel good. And by making our woman feel good, we make ourselves feel good. So you're having sex with her all the time, and then she starts putting demands on you and starts telling you what you're going to have to do. And you understand to yourself that if you don't do what she wants you to do, you're not going to get any more of the love, what you define as love, from her. And the funny thing about it is, after they've extracted everything that they can extract from you, whether it would be your money, your property, getting children from you, your last name, your self-respect, your dignity, your self-love, your self-esteem, your power, because I feel like ultimately it's an exchange of power too. Once they've gotten everything that they can get from you, there's nothing more for them to extract. So that's why after you've been with them for a while, you notice that the sex starts slowing up, the affection starts slowing up, and being able to do that with them starts slowing up, because it doesn't mean anything to them, and they've gotten what they wanted. They ultimately have gotten you to give unto them, give yourself to them, and that's something that they think they want on the surface, but when they get it, it's not fun to them anymore. And then that's when the sex starts drying up. That's when you realize in the beginning, when you were getting sex all the time, in the beginning you were getting head all the time, you know. And to me, I think like a woman giving a man head is like the way she shows him that she respects him and she admires him and she looks up to him. And once that stops happening and the relationship goes further and further and further, you realize like that's not happening as often. You know, you basically gotta, I'm not gonna say beg for sex, but you gotta like always initiate the sex, and you get told no a lot and stuff like that. So, you know, I just wanted to just make this video to let people know, like, you know, sex is part of human nature, but what people view it as, I think, is very, very skewed. You know, sex is used as a weapon, man. You know, because it can be regulated, taken away, or given. And sex has been the one thing that I've realized throughout my life has been the one thing that can make me put aside my morals, my principles, my values and beliefs, and go against everything that I thought was right, and let people treat me ways that I would never allow people to treat me, and do things to me that I would never allow people to do with me, to continue to get sex from them. That's how powerful it is, man, because I've never had an STD in my life. I've never had a sexually transmitted disease, but I have had several spiritually transmitted diseases, man, where I've linked spirits with these people. And it was very, very hard for me to shake them, you know, because they stayed in my mind, even though my body wasn't attached to them anymore. And the last part I'm going to talk about is like the connection aspect of sex. You know, sex is, like I say, it's physical, it's emotional, and it's spiritual. And we talk about desire. Like, desire is a real powerful thing. And anytime that you get with someone and you really desire that person, like when you connect with that person, it's like you're connecting with yourself. Because when I was with a girl that I was with for an extended period of time, when I would have sex with her and like we would orgasm together, or we would like, you know, have orgasms, or I would have one, it would be like everything in the world would disappear while we were having sex with each other, at least for me. And when I looked at it from that happening, it's like that's how I always wanted to feel inside myself. And I always wanted to connect like that inside myself, where I had total peace, like a piece of heaven for a moment. And I realized that having sex with the other person was just really, it was me. It was like, that's why they say two fleshes come together and become one. You know, you become one with yourself through sex with that other person, and you gain that connection through that other person to yourself. That's why after a while, people being with each other and stuff like that, they start to look like each other. They start to, you know, favor each other in mannerisms. Like my last girlfriend that I was with, like people would see us on Facebook together and be like, man, y'all look just alike. And it's just weird how that happens. So you got to be careful who you have sex with, man. I know I'm probably not the person to be telling people this, because it's still a struggle I have in my life. But, you know, at least I'm more conscious of it. And just be conscious of what sex is, and realize that its ultimate goal is to bring forth life. And if it's really not being used for that purpose, it's really not being used for the purpose that it was made for. And that's why I think so much trouble comes out of it, so much strife, so much fighting. You know, you realize, like, usually when you're dealing with women, man, if you're not having sex with them, man, there's really no conflict between y'all. It's as soon as the sex comes into play where the conflict comes in at. And I don't think that's what it was designed for. So that's just my thoughts on sex. I hope y'all got something out of this. If not, I'm sorry for wasting your time, but I'm pretty sure there's a lot of other videos online that you can look at that you can relate to. And hopefully I'll bring some more stuff down the line that you can relate to. So thank y'all for spending some time with me, bro. I'll be back soon.